The IATF has expanded the list of foreign travelers allowed to enter the country. Things are looking up for the country's COVID-19 immunization drive as the IATF released an updated vaccine priority list. It's final. Drivers and passengers are required to wear face masks inside private cars. Those driving solo, meanwhile, could go unmasked. The country's inflation rate rose by their fastest level in 2 years in January. This as surge in food prices remain unabated. And netizens can get enough of these disabled doggos who were spotted taking their daily exercise at a shelter in Bangkok, Thailand. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. The government has further relaxed foreign and local travel restrictions ahead of the vaccine rollout. An infectious disease expert says these could all be beneficial as long as health protocols are strictly enforced. Maricel Halili has the report.
Despite the threat of new COVID-19 variants, the government will allow more foreign arrivals starting February 16. PALA spokesman Harry Roque said those with valid visas issued as of March 20, 2020 will be allowed to enter the country. The same applies to foreign nationals who are current holders of special resident and retirees visas. They just need to present an entry exemption document to immigration personnel upon arrival at the airport. Roque noted that the move has been decided on and approved by the government without prejudice on existing immigration policies.
Ang Commissioner of Immigration ay mayroong eksklusibong prerogative na makapagdesisyon tungkol sa waiver o recall ng exclusion orders ng lahat ng mga dayuhan na pumapasok.
But they will be required to have pre-booked accommodation at government-accredited quarantine hotels or facilities. They will also be subjected to COVID-19 testing on the 6th day. Roque, however, clarified that foreigners as tourists are not yet allowed to enter the country. In an interview with One News, Dr. Jean Solante, infectious disease head at the San Lazaro Hospital, said the move doesn't necessarily mean the government is being complacent.
I think there are protocols here that we still follow despite opening up this restriction of foreigners, no? And one of that is really screening them for possible signs and symptoms of COVID.
Solante added that relaxing travel restrictions may be a welcome development now that infections have stabilized.
So far, if you look at the number of cases that has been monitored for the past few days or for the past weeks, our case has more or less stabilized. And this is something that looking forward while we are waiting for the vaccines to come.
The national government has also granted the request of Baguio City for its hotels to accommodate leisure travelers. But Malacanang noted that health protocols and contact tracing measures must be strictly observed. Government officials have also been allowed to travel without being required to undergo mandatory COVID-19 testing at their destination. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
Health facilities have started identifying healthcare workers who will be first to get vaccinated. This comes as the IATF approved the list of priority population groups for the mass inoculation. Greg Gregorio with the details.
As the first batch of vaccines are set to arrive this month, the Health Department is finalizing and identifying persons who will be prioritized in the country's mass vaccination program. Under the government's updated prioritization list, healthcare workers are at the top, followed by senior citizens, persons with comorbidities, and other sectors. With this, healthcare facilities have been instructed to come up with a list of workers who will get the shots first.
For example, in NCR, we already have around 116,000 that have submitted their total numbers, no? But ito po, nandun po tayo sa master listing stage pa lang. Within the hospitals, they are still in the process of going through each of their staff to find kung sino po yung may mga comorbidities.
Private hospitals have also been instructed to identify priority personnel. Among frontline healthcare workers, meanwhile, first on the list should be frontliners in COVID-19 referral hospitals, such as the Philippine General Hospital, Lung Center of the Philippines, and the Jose N. Rodriguez Memorial Hospital. Due to the limited supply of vaccines, the DOH said that health workers in Metro Manila could possibly be the first in line.
Yung ating burden of disease across the different regions, NCR is the topmost. And then there was also this criteria na sinasabi, yung readiness para sa pagdating ng bakuna. Would the storage capacity be fulfilled, no? Yung mga requirements na andyan ba? And it would be that the National Capital Region would be the most ready.
Local governments have also been ordered to conduct a pre-registration in their locality. The city of Manila, for one, has launched their registration for vaccination back in December 2020. To date, over 80,000 people have pre-registered online. They also welcome non-Manila residents.
Non-Manilan po, pero dito po naka-dorm o kaya dito po yung mga frontliners po na non-Manilan, ang suggestion po namin ay gamitin po nila yung place of work nila as their residence o yun yung address po na gagamitin nila.
Master list of every health facility and LGUs have to be validated with a person's profile and medical history, among others. After that, it will be incorporated in the government's vaccine information management system. If a recipient decides to back out, measures are in place to avoid vaccine wastage.
Kailangan meron po silang nakatalaga ng mga alternative na mga recipients kung sakaling magkakaroon tayo ng pagtanggi during the vaccination day itself. So again, the government will not allow wastage for this very valuable technology. It will be based on the priority framework pa rin.
In an interview with One News, Dr. Ron Jean Solante of the San Lazaro Hospital welcomed these developments, saying now is the best time to trust COVID-19 vaccines.
Why are we getting these vaccines and why are we prioritizing these vaccines to the frontliners? Because we want to get the soonest protection among the vulnerable, and hopefully everyone will get to be vaccinated in that priority list.
For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Now, the country's COVID-19 caseload has surged past the 533,000 mark. That's after the health department reported over 1,800 new infections, bringing the active case count to above 34,000. Now, only around 4% are critical or severe cases. The virus killed 61 more patients in the past 24 hours, pushing the death toll to more than 11,000. Now, some 488,000, meanwhile, have been removed from the sick list, including 397 COVID-19 survivors recorded overnight. And more stories after the short break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Health officials checked out a storage facility in Parañaque City as part of the government's anticipation for the arrival of vaccines. Ryan Ang is on the ground to tell us more about this. Ryan, how many shots can the facility actually store?
Risa Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez Jr. spearheaded the ocular inspection of the Royal Cargo Cold Storage Facility in Parañaque City this afternoon. Equipment in the facility can store vaccines that require -70, -20, and 2 to 8 degrees with a capacity of 1 to 2 million vials. The officials also checked a refrigerated container truck that has a maximum temperature of negative 35 degrees. The company said the truck will be used to deliver and store vaccines in remote areas. Duque said the cold storage facility can significantly help in the logistics requirements of the vaccines. The selection of the service provider, though, has to undergo the usual bidding process. Undersecretary Carol Taino of the DOH Procurement and Supply Chain Management Office said they have already sent invitations to 41 service providers. They have also inspected Unilab and Swellig Parma. The deadline for submission of the biddings is set on February 11. Risa Taino also said they might be able to award the contract to the winning bidder by the end of the month. Riza.
Thank you, Ryan. That was Ryan Ang reporting live from Parañaque City. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Health and Transportation Departments confirmed that private car drivers and passengers are required to wear face masks regardless if they come from the same household. Both agencies meanwhile clarified that those driving alone no longer need to wear a mask. Senator Richard Gordon called for the resignation of LTO officials over the slow implementation of the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. At the Senate committee hearing today, Gordon lashed out at LTO for failure to produce bigger and more readable plates almost 2 years after the law was passed. And the country's inflation rate quickened to 4.2% in January, the highest since February 2019. Food and non-alcoholic beverages pushed the figure up, with meat, vegetables, and fruits recording the highest increases. Now for some good vibes to end your week, a group of disabled dogs were spotted taking their daily exercise at a shelter in Bangkok, Thailand. Now, more than 24 of dogs were seen running freely with the help of makeshift wheels. The dogs were mostly victims of accidents and are being nursed back to health. The Bangkok shelter spends more than $1,300 a day to care for more than 600 dogs and feed 350 more on the streets. Thailand estimates that there are about 800,000 stray cats and dogs in the country as of 2017 and might balloon to 2 million by 2027. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.